So welcome to my summary of 2021. Christmas has come and gone, and I love this time of year because it's a time to reflect on what I've looked at this past year, watch-wise. The highs and lows, basically. The things I want to share with you are effectively watches that I've been personally impressed by as a reviewer. I'm going to then talk about the watches which I've just been disappointed by for whatever reason, and I'll show you again why that is the case. Again, these are all just opinions based on my experience with the watches, so let's get stuck in. Now I'm going to start before I talk about any watches. What is the hardest thing about effectively being a watch reviewer and YouTuber? Me personally, it's the fact that I'm trying to grow a channel whilst having a full-time job, trying to be a dad, try and be a husband, try and be a friend, try and run a strap business, so on and so forth, and try and do this without losing money and try and make a few quid. That is incredibly intense and very difficult. And people don't tell you about that stuff behind the scenes. That is just part of the package of being a watch YouTuber, but the overall pleasures that come from it are huge. Me recording this video right now, I've literally got about an hour and a half of a particular day between Christmas and New Year, and you literally have to throw up your studio. It's all put together in seconds, and I've got to go, right, I've got an hour and a half to try and record X amount of stuff for X amount of videos. I'm staggered that I've managed to build a channel of up to nearly 10,000 in 18 months. Doing that is my method. Generally, it's chuck in an hour here, chuck in an hour there, throw it all together, send it out and go, there you go. And I'm staggered that people watch it. So my New Year's resolution is to give myself more credit. Just remember that this is meant to be fun, and it is. That's enough of me waffling about this for 2 minutes. Let's get on with me discussing more about watches, because that's why you're here, hopefully. The fails of the year, this was the Casio C8181. That was a fail because beautiful fit and finish, it looked gorgeous. I couldn't floor it in that respect, but the main fail was the fact the pushers did nothing for timing. It had no chronograph function. The pushers just changed the day and the date, and you'd knock it with your wrist all the time because the pushers didn't screw down. So 1 minute it's Wednesday the 3rd, and then it's Friday the 7th. You know, you're like, what a time traveling watch. It was annoying and it was rubbish. But for me, it was the first Casio I saw which had a significant step up in build quality without a huge raise in prices. Take note, Pagani design. Next surprise fail for me, which I couldn't believe, was San Martin. I bought 2 San Martin Black Bay 58 homages. One, the black and gilt version. The hands didn't line up. So if you went to 10 o'clock, for example, you had to go almost at 4, maybe 5 minutes past 10 for the hour hand to be on the 10 o'clock. So there was a hand misalignment. And then the other one had a problem with the PT 5000 movement. They both had the same movement, but they both were running well. But the other one, even when I was gently hand winding it, something seized up, and then it would mean whenever I hand wound the watch, the rotor would start spinning like mad, and it vibrated like hell. Something jammed inside, and I had to argue the toss over it with San Martin. So anger out the way, we move on to the next failings. I've lost patience with, to the point where I literally don't think I'm going to buy any more Pagani designs. I've gone so off them. I know many of you love them, and I mean, I'm probably going to lose thousands of views in future by not reviewing them as much, unless they really up their game. I've had a few where I've just started to get really disappointed. Build quality for the price increase is so inconsistent and really frustrating, to the point where I don't want to buy them anymore. I've had quite a few. You know, I've had the one that was an homage to the LeGrand Seiko diver, sloppy fitting end links. It was awful, huge gappy bits. One, they bent the spring bar so much it looked like a banana. It was horrific. A big dot of fluff on the dial underneath there, and it's just sloppy. And there's other ones that are just, again, sloppy. There's little bits here and there that are just wrong, and I'm like, the prices are going up. And that's annoying me when other people seem to be offering things at the similar prices or way less with better build quality. Like Escapement Time, Octopus Kraken Store, Parnis still, I feel they're almost better now. Casio are definitely up their game. Pagani design, they've got a bit sloppy and lazy. They rush watches out too much. So they are a fail to me this year. Disappointing. Another disappointment is what has been a trend with companies releasing a watch and then going, welcome to version 2, and now we have version 3, and a week later version 4. What we do is basically release something flawed, such as the Tactical Frog, which many of you love, by the way. I'm sorry if I'm poo-pooing it too much, but many of you go, I love this watch, it's great. But I'm like, no, it had a stupid bezel, and that was the main thing. It annoyed me. And the end links were a bit too thick, and there was a few other bits that just made me cross. And then at the same time, Seastern released something which was the same price, but significantly better. And then they've partly been to blame. They go, well, we've done a version 2 now. We've listened to what reviewers have said and customers have said. Here's version 2, by the way. Oh, okay, so people with version 1 are slightly disappointed. So weeks later after criticizing their watch, someone fixes it, which is great. I love evolution and people fixing their products, but what I don't like is it's been so quick, and then it just alienates the 100 or so people that bought the first batch. And I just think that's a trend which I'm a bit cross about, especially with Tactical Frog. You know, version 3 now, I think, already. And I only reviewed the watch a few months ago. So why don't they just get it right in the first place? Annoying. Another huge fail, to the point where I don't think I'm ever going to hear from this company ever again, was Bernard H. Mayer. It was a mess. The video, people barely wanted to watch it. The watch itself was a huge disappointment. The movement was running poorly. There was some sloppy build quality issues. And I just think for the money, if you were to buy this watch, you'd be disappointed at £1,700 when you could buy a beautiful Oris, which would be faultless for that. I was just so disappointed in this watch, and I felt really bad for the company, but I'm very honest. I had to be honest. Even though they sent me the watch and I didn't have to send it back, I'm like, you know what, I'm still going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And that's one of those awkward things as a watch reviewer. You get sometimes a watch which you go, oh, you know what, that looks really good. And you get it and you're like, okay, that bit's crap. Oh God, the lume's so bad. I've seen it better on a 20 quid Loris. And the movement's running poorly. You know, there's there's a bit of fluff under the dial, or the bezel feels sloppy. This doesn't line up. The list goes on, and you go, "Oh my God, I can't hide this from you guys." So that was a fail. That was disappointing, and I don't think I'll be hearing from that brand again. But I don't mind. I'd rather be honest. That's the weird thing. Moving on about being honest and still hearing from people. Nom On Watches sent me Hitori Raikuku Diver. And I was actually quite brutal on that watch. I still like it, but I criticised quite a few elements on it. Highlighted the weird bezel feel, the poor lume, and the movement wasn't running great because it was magnetised and I had to demagnetise it. There's a few issues, basically, is what I'm getting at. But I highlighted it all and I was very honest. I just did everything I should as a reviewer. And they've got in touch with me again. They sent me another watch, which shows that honesty can pay off. So for me, that watch itself was a fail. But what was a good thing that came from it, a huge positive, was the relationship with Nom On Watches continued, thankfully. Let's move on from that. Now let's discuss all the highlights watch-wise of this year. It's been bonkers, really. Let's start with what I think has been the watch that has surprised me the most. It's been hugely popular with you guys, and I'm now on my third one. I'm waiting for the third one to arrive. It's the one with the Tiffany blue dial. So on trend, darling. Everyone's into Tiffany blue at the moment, myself especially. Escapement Time. I've bought 3 or 4 of their watches just this year, and they've impressed me so much. It's the King Seiko homage, £70 delivered to my door. I've only had one so far with a tiny bit of fluff under the dial, and that's it. But everything else about them, for the price, I like that they're an homage, but not to something that is very common. I like the fact the build quality and the fit and finish is extremely good for the money. I like the fact it's got a mecha quartz movement. I like the fact that you can dress it up or dress it down. I like the fact there's been a little bit of evolution with the design and colour variations available. It's a winner all round. And again, for the price, fantastic. Next, San Martin. My favourite watch, I think, purely because of the dial, was their 600-metre dive watch with the blue pearl dial. Gorgeous. The fit and finish watch was amazing. It's quite a big and heavy piece. I enjoy wearing it. And they now do it in a 40.5 or 41mm case size rather than this chunkier beast that I reviewed previously. I just love it. It's gorgeous. And I just think if you're into San Martin and if you're into homages of this type, this is the most impressive one I've seen of this type. And that dial said everything. It was gorgeous. And yeah, I was smitten. Another surprising dive watch, and my first experience with Mercury watches, was their Ocean Master Professional 300. Everything about this watch was spot on, apart from maybe the rubber strap didn't fit perfectly. But the build quality, the lume, all the stats and specs of it, the way it fitted on the wrist, the comfort, everything was so good. It was an overall very impressive watch for the money, and I really enjoyed it. Another success story is I've seen quite a lot of the PHOIBOS watches this year. Leviathan was a bit of a weird one because it was bigger than the watches I normally used to, but you get used to it, and it's actually such a beautifully made watch with incredible specification. And it's just something you would enjoy with a larger wrist, something you wanted to look substantial and go to great depths with. It was fantastic. And I just think all their watches have got the nice elements of design in there, fit and finish is good. I think there's a lot of interesting things to come from them, and I really think they are exciting. Next up, a Japanese brand, KUOE Watches. My Japanese pronunciation is horrific, but it's KUOE, and they are a new brand. A guy came from Japan to Britain, was in London for a while, saw beautiful vintage watches in antique shops, fell in love, and wanted to start his own brand up, offering Japanese watches that had a vintage look, but they're brand new, and they have incredibly affordable prices, gorgeous variation of colours and designs. And I just think for smaller wristed gentlemen or ladies that want something that looks classy, subtle, and interesting and beautiful, and looks like something you have found in an antique shop, you can't go wrong with these watches. Beautiful. Things that have been great fun for me this year. My two favourite mods, personally, I did. One was the Orient Ray 2 I did, where I did a sapphire crystal upgrade, changed the bezel, changed the strap, and put a different bezel insert in. Those subtle few upgrades I did to that Orient Ray 2, I loved it. I've sold it now, by the way, because I needed to free up some money to keep buying watches to review for you guys. But it's something I can do again because the watch was cheap to buy, it was running really well, and the parts were easy to get from the Moki mods. And it was fun to then share and guide you guys through those kind of things, put it together and show you the finished outcome. And you guys loved that video and I love making it. And more mod videos will come. And another mod video I love making was the one of my Loris titanium watch. I've still got the watch obviously in the collection. I love it. It's a cheap watch to buy. You can still get it now and then. Do hunt around. They vary in price. It's kind of end-of-line stock you'll find knocking around somewhere. But I like the fact I worked out by just popping out the original crystal, measuring it and going, just like my Casio Duro I did the same mod on, I could just do a sapphire mod on this because I feel like the titanium's great. It's got an awesome, really lightweight case and a really accurate quartz movement in there. Why not do another upgrade, slap a better strap on it and put a sapphire in there? So I put a double dome bit of sapphire. It cost like £15, I think. I can't remember. Check out the video. It was such an easy, fun, cheap mod to do. And I really enjoyed making the video, sharing it with you guys to show how easy it is. And it's just good fun. It's nice to give back and for people to try out new things. I've really enjoyed this watch when I had it. Again, a watch I sold on because I have to with a lot of watches. But this Accurist Retro Chrono is beautiful. It's British design. It was well made. It just looked gorgeous. I just think it's interesting. The colour variations of the watch are interesting. It looks very retro. Change the straps out. You can really make this look like something special. And it's a good price. And they've dropped in price. They're available now. You can get them in sales. I think for the money, it's beautiful. And you would love it if you wanted something a bit more retro racer style watch. What was the top seller in the 11/11 sale this year by a country mile was the Addy's Dive Quartz Diver. I bought this piece because I had in mind a mod, which I did and I've shared with you in another video. I did a hydro mod on that watch and I was filling it with oil. And that effectively gives it a amazing look to the dial. It makes it look like it's projecting all the loomed indices and hands to the surface of the crystal. The final outcome has worked perfectly. The watch hasn't lost time. It's not leaked. For this watch, it's a good project piece. And while you're at it, you can do a crystal swap as well. If you want details about any of that, check out the mod video I did of that and you get to see how simple it was. Next lot are more sort of honourable mentions I'm going to fly through, which I've been impressed by this year. Let's start with the San Martin, the Unimatic Homage, the SN020G, both cracking watches, beautiful, well made, just really enjoyable pieces and affordable. Octopus, Kraken and Baltony, they have been doing incredible watches. Every watch I've seen from them has been impressive, well made, good spec for the money. You can't go wrong. If you like a military style watch, they are, for me, the best you can get at the money at the moment. Radcliffe Watches, two individual, exciting, gorgeous pieces. One with a stunning, great wave case back and another one with incredible guilloche dial in Tiffany blue. Very quirky, unique British design, beautiful pieces. Fun and definitely now on my radar and hopefully yours too. You guys love them as well. Seastern, fantastic watches. I know they're bringing out new editions of watches a little bit too frequently for my liking, but their homage to a Doxa was very impressive. The overall build quality was really good, great specification and an affordable price. I really enjoyed that piece and there's some gorgeous colour variations coming out. So very impressive. Richard LeGrand, what a stunning watch that was. Oh my God, really impressive. The general build quality, the look, the feel, the weight, it was stunning. And I just think, I can't wait for more to come out from Richard LeGrand watches. Bit of a silly name, but their watches are not silly. Lastly, a huge highlight for me was getting close to 10,000 subscribers now. That is obviously a huge highlight. I've got something amazing planned for when I hit 10K. Obviously there'll be giveaways, but there's something really cool planned. So stay tuned for that. But when Rotary as a brand, a British brand, reached out to me and said, we'd like to send you a new release, would you do a review? I was so excited because that for me felt like I kind of made it in a way. to have a brand reach out, rather than me try and blag all the time, to have someone come and say, we really like your reviews and the way you do stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm really flattered. Would you like to review one of our watches? I was like, oh my God, do I? This is amazing. So that's a highlight. I really like the watch. I really enjoyed sharing it with you guys. And I really look forward to more of those exciting relationships coming in the future. And that's where I see next year. That's how I'm going to finish this video. So what do I see coming? We're going to hit 10,000 subscribers. For me, that is an epic achievement. I've got a lot more stuff to come. More brand relationships are coming. I've got loads in the pipeline. People are on board with wanting to share their watches with me, to share with you guys. More mod videos. I want to up my game. And if you've enjoyed this journey today in this video, thank you. And I'll see you in the new year. Bye for now.